Grab your coffee, mama. It's time for coffee, clients, and nap time. I'm Sarah Marie, and this is your guide to building a business that works for you and your family. Here, we'll dive into creating a thriving business that lets you be the hands-on parent you want while designing the life you've always dreamed of. So if you're ready to balance business success with family life and make it all work in a way that feels right for you, then let's dive in. Hey mama, welcome back to Coffee, Clients and Nap Time. I'm Sarah Marie, and if you're listening to this while simultaneously trying to answer emails, make lunch, and referee a toddler meltdown, well, you're exactly where you need to be. Today we're diving into one of the most requested, most talked about, and most misunderstood topics I see in the mum in business world: work-life balance. And before we go any further, I want to be completely transparent with you. As I'm recording this, my almost 2-year-old is supposedly napping. I can actually hear him having a full conversation with his stuffed dinosaur through the baby monitor. There's a load of washing that's been sitting in the machine since this morning, and I may have 17 browser tabs open because I keep getting distracted mid-task. This is my real life. This is my life. And if yours looks anything like mine, then you know that everything we've been told about work-life balance is, frankly, a load of rubbish. Let me start by saying this. I don't think balance looks the way we've been told it should. And I know for so many of us, especially with little ones underfoot, balance doesn't feel like a split. It feels like a battle. So in this episode, I want to pull back the curtain on what work-life balance actually looks like in the trenches. I prefer to call it work-life integration. And I'll be sharing what it used to mean to me, how that's changed, the mistakes I've made along the way, and the tools I now lean on to create a version of balance that actually works for me, and more importantly, works for my family. Because here's what I've learned. Balance isn't something you achieve once and then tick off your list. It's something you create, lose, recreate, and adjust constantly. It's messy, it's imperfect, and it's absolutely nothing like those Instagram posts would have you believe. All right, let's start with the myth we've been sold. That balance is all about 50-50, equal time, equal effort every day. That if you just get your systems right, your schedule optimized, and your boundaries set, you'll achieve this Zen-like state where work and life exist in perfect harmony. I call this the Pinterest version of work-life balance. You know the one. The perfectly curated home office with the succulents and the motivational quotes, the color-coded planner, the woman smiling serenely while her baby sleeps peacefully in one arm and she types with the other. But here's the reality. I'm actually running 2 brands, this podcast, doing client work, and still being the main parent on duty 99% of the time. Some days I'm all business. I'm in the zone. I'm crushing my to-do list. I'm feeling like the CEO boss lady I'd always dreamed of being. And other days it's bluey and meltdowns and maybe one email reply if I'm lucky. And you know what? Both of those days are completely valid. Balance isn't a clean pie chart. It's messy. It's seasonal. And trying to keep it even every single day, that will burn you out faster than a Black Friday launch. There was a time I really believed that if I just organized better, I'd crack the code. I brought every planner, downloaded every app, followed every productivity guru. I color-coded my calendar within an inch of its life. And I had systems for everything: meal planning, content batching, time blocking. I was convinced that if I could just get organized enough, I'd finally find that magical balance everyone was talking about. But more than once, I found myself sitting on the floor folding laundry while mentally antagonizing over a missed client deadline and feeling that anxiety take hold in my chest and wondering just how everyone else seemed to have it all together. I remember one particularly brutal Tuesday where I'd had to cancel a client call because my son was unwell and he just wanted to be held. I'd burnt dinner because I was trying to multitask, and I'd snapped at my partner because I felt like I was failing at everything. Later that night, while scrolling on Instagram, I saw post after post of mums who seemed to have it all figured out. The ones posting about their morning routines, their productive days, their grateful hearts. And I felt like such a fraud. Here I was, supposedly helping other mums build businesses, and I couldn't even manage my own life. The truth is, the work-life balance we've been sold is designed for a different life. It's designed for someone who doesn't have tiny humans depending on them for every snack, every emotional regulation, and every scraped knee. It's designed for someone who can close their office door and actually have it stay closed. It's designed for someone who gets to finish their thoughts, their meals, and their sentences without interruption. That's not our reality. And trying to force our reality into that mold is like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It's just going to leave you frustrated and feeling like you're doing something wrong. Let's take a moment to talk about what balance really looks like when you're the default parent, because this is something I don't think we talk about enough in the business world. Being a mum in business isn't just about hours worked. It's not just about carving out time for your business between naps and bedtime. It's about the switching from client strategy to dinner strategy, from writing proposals to breaking up toddler squabbles, from Zoom calls to calming a teething baby, from thinking about quarterly targets to remembering that tomorrow is library day and you need to find the book that's definitely somewhere in the house. It's not just multitasking. It's context switching on steroids, and it is exhausting. According to research from the University of Melbourne, women carry 70% more of the cognitive household load. That's the remembering, the planning, the emotional bandwidth. That's knowing that you're out of milk, that the school excursion form is due tomorrow, that your child's favourite jumper is in the wash, and that you need to call the paediatrician about that rash. And if you're in that mental loop plus you're running a business, well, of course you're tired. Of course you're overwhelmed. And of course you sometimes feel like you're drowning. You're not doing it wrong. You're just doing more than was ever meant to be done by one person. Let me paint you a picture of what a typical day used to look like for me. I'd wake up and instantly it was the usual morning chaos. Breakfast, getting everyone dressed, you know the drill. I'd try to squeeze in some work during quiet time, but inevitably someone would need something. A snack, help with a toy, a cuddle because they were feeling overwhelmed. Then there was the afternoon juggle, trying to prep dinner while supervising play, fielding client calls while making sure no one was climbing on the furniture, attempting to write coherent emails while my brain was mentally running through tomorrow's schedule and whether we had enough clean clothes for everyone. By evening, after the kids were in bed, I'd sit down to really work, but I'd be so mentally depleted I'd end up scrolling social media or hyper-focusing on some busy work at my laptop. Then I'd wake up the next morning feeling behind and guilty that I wasn't doing enough for my business or my clients. The thing is, I was carrying all this in my head all the time. Even when I was working, part of my brain was thinking about whether I'd signed the permission slip, whether we had enough snacks for tomorrow's outing, whether I'd responded to my mother-in-law's text about dinner plans. This is what researchers call the mental load, the invisible work of managing a household and family. It's not just the physical tasks. It's the cognitive and emotional labour of keeping everything running smoothly. And when you add running a business on top of that, it's no wonder we feel stretched thin. I remember reading somewhere that the average mother makes about 35,000 decisions a day. 35,000! And that's before you add business decisions on top of that. What to have for lunch? Which activity to do this afternoon? Should I book that client call or is it too close to nap time? Did I remember to order those supplies? Is the rash worth a doctor's visit or should I wait and see? Oh my God, the decisions never stop. The mental tabs, they never close. And society expects us to do all of this while also building successful businesses, staying connected with our partners, maintaining friendships, and somehow still having time for self-care. So what does balance look like now? How did I shift from that overwhelmed, crying on the laundry floor version of myself to someone who actually enjoys running a business while raising kids? To me, it's rhythm over structure. I stopped trying to force every day to look the same and started working with the natural rhythms of my life, my energy, and my family needs. I now structure my weeks based on energy and reality, not some arbitrary productivity framework I found online. Some weeks are work heavy. Maybe I'm launching something new, or I have a big project due, or I'm in a particularly creative phase. Other weeks are kids heavy. It's school holidays, there's an illness, or just times when my family needs more of me. I've stopped expecting balance in the moment and started seeking balance over the whole month. This shift in thinking has been absolutely revolutionary for me. Instead of judging each day by whether I achieved perfect balance, I look at patterns over time. Did I have weeks where I could actually focus on my business? Did I also have weeks where I could be fully present with my family? Did I take care of myself somewhere in there? It's not perfect, but it's real and it's sustainable. I think about it like seasons. There are seasons for planting, seasons for growing, seasons for harvesting, and seasons for rest. My business has seasons too. There are seasons for launching, seasons for creating, seasons for building, and seasons for maintaining. Fighting against these natural rhythms is like trying to swim upstream. It's exhausting and ultimately counterproductive. This approach has also helped me to be more strategic about my business. Instead of trying to do everything all the time, I focus on what's important in each season. During a family-heavy season, I might focus on maintenance activities such as responding to emails, nurturing existing clients, and keeping the lights on. During a work-heavy season, I might focus on growth activities such as launching new products, building new partnerships, and expanding my reach. All right, let's get into some tools that actually help. These are things I use, recommend, and come back to when the juggle gets a bit wobbly. But before I dive in, I just want to say this. Not every tool will work for every person. Take what serves you and leave the rest. The first one is weekly planning sessions. Even if it's while the kids are watching Bluey, I like to spend 10 minutes on a Sunday night looking at the week ahead. What's essential? What can wait? What are the non-negotiables? What client deadlines do I have coming up? I used to try to plan my days in isolation, but I've learned that my week is an ecosystem. If I have a big client presentation on Tuesday, I need to prep for that on Monday, which means I can't schedule anything else demanding on that Monday. And if the kids have a school event on Wednesday, I need to buffer in time for that too. During my weekly planning session, I look at 3 things: family commitments, business priorities, and energy management. Family commitments are non-negotiable and they get scheduled first. Business priorities are scheduled around family commitments, with high-energy tasks scheduled for high-energy times. And energy management means I don't schedule 2 draining things back-to-back if I can help it. 2, divide your work. This has been a game changer for me. I divide all my business activities into 2 categories. Well, technically 3, as I still do a fair bit of hands-on client work at the moment. Category 1 is maintenance. These are things that keep the business running: responding to emails, client communication, basic admin, maintaining my social media presence. Category 2 is growth. These are things that move it forward: creating new products, building new partnerships, strategic planning, content creation, marketing campaigns. So if you're in a full week of parenting, maybe someone's sick, maybe it's school holidays, maybe you're just feeling stretched thin, stick to the maintenance only. Give yourself permission to just keep the lights on for a bit. This framework has eliminated so much guilt for me. Before, I used to feel like I was failing if I wasn't constantly growing and improving my business. Now I understand that maintaining what I've already built is valuable work too. 3, time audit. Track what you're really spending time on, even if just for 3 days. I guarantee you'll be surprised at how much time gets swallowed up by invisible labor. And side note, there's a Nap Time Chats episode with Vanessa Layton where she talks us through why this is important. When I first did this exercise, I was shocked. I always thought my sweet spot for client work was about 20 hours a week. But when I actually tracked it, I was spending closer to 35 hours on business activities in total. The difference was in all the micro tasks: responding to Instagram comments while making breakfast, thinking through client problems while folding laundry, checking emails while the kids played. I was working way more than I thought, but it was so fragmented that it didn't feel productive. This insight led me to batch similar activities together and create more defined boundaries between work time and family time. Number 4, the good enough mindset. That caption doesn't need to be a masterpiece. That launch doesn't need 47 emails. Done is better than perfect, always. This one is hard for those of us who are natural perfectionists, but it's absolutely essential. I had to learn to distinguish between things that mattered to my clients and things that only mattered to me. Your audience will not notice if your Instagram post isn't perfectly branded. They will notice if you disappear for 3 weeks because you're too overwhelmed to post anything at all. Your clients will not notice if your email template isn't perfectly designed, but they will notice if you don't respond to their emails because you're spending too much time making them pretty. Number 5, outsource or let go. I'm talking meal boxes, VA support, shared calendars. Whatever lightens your load is worth considering. I used to think outsourcing was only for the big businesses, but I've learned that strategic outsourcing is actually more important for small businesses. When you're wearing all the hats, any hat that you can take off creates space for the things that only you can do. This doesn't just mean business outsourcing, it means life outsourcing too. Grocery deliveries, meal kits, house cleaning, even lawn mowing. Anything that frees up your time and mental energy for the things that really matter most to you. Number 6, energy-based scheduling. So I schedule based on energy, not just time. I know that I'm most admin-focused in the morning, most social in the afternoon, and most creative in the evening, so I schedule accordingly. I also know that I only have about 4 to 6 hours of focused work in me on any given day, and that's around the kids. Some days it's more, some days it's less. But trying to push beyond that usually results in diminishing returns. Number 7, boundary setting. Not just the let's set boundaries advice that everyone gives, but practical boundary setting that actually works around your kids. For example, I have a closed door policy when I'm on client calls, so I try to schedule them when the big kids are at school and my little one is napping. And I have specific times when I check emails, but I also have a family calendar that everyone can see so they know when I'm available. The key is making boundaries that work for your real life, not the ideal life. So if you're listening to this while reheating your coffee for the 3rd time and trying to remember which day your kid needed the book parade outfit, please know this: you are doing enough. I know it doesn't feel like it. I know you look around and see mums who seem to have it all together, who are crushing their business goals while also being Pinterest perfect parents. I know you see the social media posts about morning routines and productivity hacks and wonder why you can't seem to get it right. But at the core of this, here's what I want you to really understand. You are not failing. It is the system that is failing you. We're trying to build businesses and raise children in a world that was designed for neither. We're trying to do it without the village that humans have always relied on. We're trying to do it during a time when the demands on parents are higher than they've ever been and the support systems are weaker than they've ever been. Balance isn't a destination. It's a constant readjustment. It's like learning to ride a bike. You don't just find your balance and then stay perfectly upright forever. You're constantly making tiny adjustments, leaning left, leaning right, finding your center again and again. You're allowed to let some things go. And you're allowed to order takeout 3 times this week. You're allowed to let your kids watch more TV than you planned. You're allowed to send emails with typos. You are allowed to show up imperfectly. You don't have to make your business look like someone else's to be successful. Your business can be built around your life, not in spite of it. Your business can have seasons and rhythms and boundaries that actually work for you. And this life you're building, it matters, even on the messy days, especially on the messy days. Your kids are learning that women can be entrepreneurs. They're learning that work can be meaningful. They're learning that it's okay to pursue your dreams even when life gets complicated. You are modeling something so incredibly important for the next generation, and that matters more than any perfect Instagram post or flawless morning routine. So I want to give you some permission slips. Consider this your official authorization to work in 15-minute chunks if that's all you have, to take calls while folding laundry, to send typos in your emails, to schedule client calls around nap times, to use screen time as a business strategy, to order takeout so you can meet a deadline, to say no to opportunities that just don't fit your season, to make less money in exchange for more flexibility, and to build a business that looks different from everyone else's. You actually don't need anyone's permission to do any of these things, but sometimes we need to hear that it's okay. It's okay to run your business in a way that works for your life. Before we wrap up, I want to share 3 mindset shifts that have been absolutely transformational for me. These aren't just business strategies, they're life strategies. Shift 1, from perfection to progress. I used to think that if I couldn't do something perfectly, I shouldn't do it at all. This kept me stuck for years. I wouldn't start a project unless I knew I could finish it perfectly. I wouldn't launch a product unless every detail was flawless. I wouldn't post content until it was exactly right. But perfection is the enemy of progress, and progress is the enemy of overwhelm. Now I focus on progress, not perfection. Can I make this 10% better? Can I move this project forward, even if it's not perfect? Can I show up today, even if I'm not at my best? The shift has allowed me to actually build something instead of just planning to build something. Shift 2, from scarcity to abundance. I used to believe that if I wasn't working every available moment, I was missing out on opportunities and therefore income. If I took a day off, someone else would get ahead. If I didn't respond to emails immediately, clients would leave. But business is not a zero-sum game. There's enough success to go around. And my rest is not a threat to my business. It's actually fuel for my business. Now I operate from abundance. I trust that the right opportunities will come at the right time. I trust that taking care of myself actually makes me a better business owner. And I trust that my business can grow at a pace that works for my life. Shift 3, from comparison to curiosity. I used to look at other mums in business and immediately compare myself to them. Why was their business growing faster? Why did they seem to have it all together? Why couldn't I be more like them? Comparison was killing my creativity and my confidence. Now when I see someone doing something I admire, I get curious instead of competitive. What can I learn from them? What strategies might work for me? How can I adopt their approach to fit my life? This shift has opened up so many possibilities and connections that I would have missed when I was stuck in comparison mode. So how do you build your own version of balance? How do you take these ideas and make them work for your own specific life, your kids, and your own business? Step 1, get real about your reality. I want you to take an honest look at your life right now. Not your ideal life, not the life as you wish it was, but your actual life. What are your real constraints? What are your real priorities? What are your real energy patterns? When are you most productive? When are your kids most demanding? When does your family need you most? And when do you need rest? Step 2, design your week. Based on that reality, design a week that works for you. Not a week that looks like someone else's, but a week that fits into your life. Maybe your most productive time is early morning, so you wake up at 5 a.m. 3 days a week. Maybe your kids are most settled in the afternoon, so that's when you schedule client calls. Maybe Friday afternoons are family time, so you protect that religiously. Step 3, create your non-negotiables. What are the things that absolutely must happen for your life to work? Maybe it's one date night a month with your partner. Maybe it's a weekly coffee date with your best friend. Maybe it's 30 minutes of reading before bed. These aren't selfish luxuries. They're the foundations that everything else builds on. Step 4, build in flexibility. Life with kids is unpredictable, so build flexibility into your schedule so that when things do go sideways, as they will, you're not thrown completely off course. Maybe you have buffer time between appointments. Maybe you have backup plans for all your backup plans. Maybe you have a list of tasks that can be done anywhere, anytime, so you're never truly stuck. Step 5, regularly reassess. Your version of balance will change as your kids change, as your business changes, and as your life changes. What works during the toddler years might not work during the school years. What works when you're building your business might not work once it's established. Check in with yourself regularly. Ask, is this still working? What needs to be adjusted? And what's no longer serving you? If this episode landed for you, I would love to hear about it. Share it on your stories and tag me at Balanced Biz Mama so I can celebrate with you. Or shoot me a DM and tell me, what does work-life balance really mean for you right now? What's your biggest challenge? And what's the one thing you're going to try differently this week? And if you're craving support, connection, and honest conversations about what this life actually looks like, not the highlight reel, but the real, messy, beautiful behind the scenes, I want to invite you to come join us inside the Balanced Biz Mama Circle. It's a community of mums who are building businesses while raising kids, and we talk about all the things that no one else talks about. In fact, this month in the circle, we are focused on what work-life integration really looks like. Here's where we share our wins and our failures, our strategies and our struggles. We celebrate the good days and support each other through the hard days. We're building something different, businesses that fit our lives, not the other way around. I'll pop the link into the show notes if you want to check us out. But most importantly, I want you to remember this. You are not alone in this. The struggle you're feeling, it's real and it's valid. And it's shared by thousands of other mums who are trying to do exactly what you're doing. You were never meant to do this alone, and you don't have to. So until next time, Mama, go easy on yourself. You're doing so much better than you think. Thanks for joining me on Coffee, Clients and Nap Time. If you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another mum who's ready to build their dream life. You can also join our Facebook page or Instagram to stay connected every day of the week. The link is in the show notes. Just remember, you've got this, and I'm here to help every step of the way.